Christmas is meant to be a season of warmth, joy and togetherness. But for Todd Grimshaw, it is fast becoming a suffocating nightmare, one that feels increasingly inescapable and disturbingly close to tragedy. This festive period sees the walls quite literally closing in as Theo Silverton orchestrates a grotesque parody of celebration, transforming what should be a time of comfort into a carefully constructed psychological prison. With hidden cameras silently observing Todd's every move and a forced Christmas dinner looming, the tension is reaching a terrifying breaking point. Viewers are no longer just uneasy, they are genuinely fearful for Todd's safety. Before we delve further into these devastating Christmas spoilers, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Coronation Stuck to stay ahead of every major twist and turn on the cobbles. The situation between Todd and Theo has evolved into one of the most disturbing domestic abuse storylines Coronation Street has delivered in years. This is no longer about bruises or raised voices, it is about control so absolute that it strips Todd of any sense of escape. Even after the explosive moment when Todd finally fought back, any hope that he might break free was cruelly extinguished. Instead, Theo responded by tightening his grip in the most insidious way imaginable. And he has chosen Christmas as his weapon. By donning the mask of the perfect partner and radiating festive charm, Theo forces Todd to play along in a charade of domestic bliss. To the outside world, Theo is attentive and loving. To Todd, he is a jailer. That contrast is what makes the dynamic so chilling. The Christmas Eve scenes promise to be utterly claustrophobic. Theo behaves as though the police involvement and hospital visit never happened. He breezes back into the flat laden with shopping bags, casually announcing that he has invited friends over for Christmas dinner. It is a textbook abuser tactic. By filling the flat with witnesses, Theo ensures Todd cannot flee or speak out without appearing unstable or ungrateful. Social expectation becomes the lock on Todd's prison door. When Theo orders Todd to handle all the cooking, it is not a request, it is an assertion of dominance. Todd is forced to serve the very man who is destroying him, his autonomy stripped away piece by piece. What elevates this from unsettling to horrifying is Todd's knowledge that hidden cameras are watching him. Every step, every expression, every breath is monitored. Even his own living room offers no refuge. As viewers, we are left holding our breath. Will this Christmas dinner be the moment Todd finally breaks, or will he find a way to silently signal for help? The terrifying possibility is that the presence of friends will not protect him, but instead provide Theo with the perfect cover to tighten his control even further. The writers deserve credit for building this slow-burn tension with such precision. Everything feels poised for an inevitable and explosive reckoning. Elsewhere, while Todd fights a psychological war behind closed doors, Coronation Street itself is facing physical devastation in the huge crossover event known as Coriol. This ambitious collision between Weatherfield and the Dales promises chaos, heartbreak and irreversible consequences. The newly released trailer has sparked a wave of excitement and genuine dread among fans. At the center of it all is a catastrophic multi-vehicle crash. This is no minor incident. This is a full-scale disaster, with lives hanging precariously in the balance. The character causing the greatest alarm is David Platt. Played by Jack P. Shepard since the 1990s, David has grown from a troubled child into a complex husband and father, becoming the emotional backbone of countless storylines. Seeing him injured amid the wreckage has sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Shona's screams in the aftermath are gut-wrenching. When a character known for resilience collapses in raw terror, it signals that something truly awful has occurred. Speculation that David could be killed off has already sparked outrage online, with fans threatening to boycott the show before the episode has even aired. It speaks volumes about the bond viewers have with long-standing characters. Losing David would be bold, but potentially disastrous. For the show, the image of Charity Dingle comforting Shona is a surreal meeting of two worlds, yet the emotion is devastatingly real. The writers have succeeded in creating a genuine sense of peril. For once, no one feels safe. David's fate is not the only concern. Kevin and Abby Webster are seen desperately searching the wreckage for Debbie, heightening the sense of panic. In the darkness and confusion, voices calling out loved ones' names cut through the chaos, Robert Sugden shouting for Aaron, grounding the spectacle in raw human fear. This is not about stunts. It is about loss, desperation and love in its most vulnerable form. With episodes dropping early on streaming platforms before airing as a primetime special, this crossover is shaping up to dominate conversation well into January. Back on the cobbles, the Webster family faces a quieter, but no less disturbing, psychological threat. Carl's storyline is deeply uncomfortable, centering on the exploitation of a vulnerable woman. Stealing from Debbie while she struggles with dementia is a new low, even by soap villain standards. Gaslighting his own sister into believing she cannot manage her finances is cruelty at its most intimate. Carl has convinced Debbie to trust him completely, and he is using that trust to drain her accounts. It is a betrayal built on confusion and fear. Yet, just as his scheme reaches its most dangerous phase, Carl receives news that stops him cold. His mother has died. In an instant, we see him shift from calculating thief to grieving son. It does not excuse his actions, but it destabilizes him. Grief fractures his control, making him unpredictable and more dangerous. The timing could not be worse. Ronnie Bailey is stepping in to protect Debbie, and talk of power of attorney threatens to expose everything Carl has done. Caught between a collapsing con and overwhelming loss, Carl is being crushed from both sides. His emotional confession to Ronnie about wanting to see his mother's body reveals rare vulnerability. It reminds us that he is not a caricatured villain, but a deeply flawed man making catastrophic choices. That vulnerability, however, is precisely what puts him at risk. Add alcohol into the mix, and disaster feels inevitable. Secrets and drink have never ended well on the cobbles. Hints that a hen party will spiral into tragedy suggest that Carl's pressure cooker life is about to explode in public. The Websters are fragile at the best of times, and the combination of theft, grief and dementia may finally tear them apart. Abby, sharp and instinctive, could be the one to sense that something is wrong. And James remains a dangerous loose end. If his connection to Carl comes to light, everything could unravel. Carl dreams of securing the money and returning to Germany, but the walls are closing in. His mother's death may be the distraction that ultimately leads to his downfall. This Christmas on Coronation Street is defined by entrapment and secrecy. Todd is trapped in a manufactured relationship built on fear. Carl is trapped by his lies and his grief. And David Platt is trapped beneath twisted metal, fighting for his life. The writers are pushing their characters to the brink, and as viewers, we can only watch and wait to see who survives. This festive season promises heartbreak, shock and irreversible change, one that will leave Weatherfield forever altered. Christmas usually brings people together. This year, it looks set to tear them apart.